The best photo booth podcast in the world. Photo Booth 101. We got Tyler, Hans, of course, yours truly, back again from a hiatus of 1 month. We're back, you guys. As if you couldn't tell, we got the usual suspects here. Man, we got a good podcast. And I want one of you guys to take the lead. Either one of you guys. First topic of the day and title, thumbnail of this video: how to get schools interested in your photo booth services.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to talk about this because I've done a couple of school events already. They're not my favorite, but there is a potential to get repeated customers with schools. Once you get in, most of the time they want to hire the same person. I personally make it easy for the schools to hire you. One thing that I've noticed is that they want the process as easy and painless as possible. So what you could do is always collect the deposit as soon as you can, and then just send them a contract as soon as you can. And just, how do I say this? Don't really like explain everything before you hire them, because sometimes you're on the phone, and I've noticed that when you're on the phone, they're just like, okay, no, yeah, just send me the contract, just send me the deposit, and we're done. So you don't really have to sell it. You just gotta make it easy for them. At least from my experience, and I've worked with like 3 schools already, and you you just as this the easier you make it for them, the better, because it's usually not like the principal that's hiring you. It's usually not. They just give this poor guy the task of hiring all these vendors. So he's just trying to get it out of the way. You got to understand that it's not the principal, it's not someone really really big hiring for the schools. It's usually some poor schmuck that's got to do all these vendors and has got to do all these. So he's trying to just do it as fast as possible because that's what he's getting paid for to do.
Yeah. What are your guys' strategies though to get into the schools? Like, what's the first point of like work? Like, what's the step one?
So there's 2 ways over here in New Jersey. There's either going to the PTA meetings, because they're open to the public, because it's for the parents, for the kids in school. But there's also public people who don't have kids who might want to question things, about the school and stuff. And that's a good way to get your foot in the door, or just going directly to the Board of Education and, just asking most likely it's the superintendent. You talk to them and you say, hey, like, I'm looking to get into this. Can you direct me to somebody who does the events? And then they'll either say, okay, yeah, we can help you, or they'll send you to an event coordinator. So for like prom, they usually have like a teacher who like is like the coordinator throughout the year. They're like the advisor for the year, and that's the one they'll connect you with.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, the way we do it, like, for me to get my foot in the door, I know there's so many different ways, and everything you guys said is completely true. I just like to reach out, find out who's in charge, like how you guys mentioned, like Hans, there's usually one person. And I offer a free event. And this is something I think everybody should do. You could say like, hey, any event you guys having coming up, and the chances are the school will probably have something in the next 2 weeks, right? Whether it's a volleyball game, football game, ASB, prom, whatever, right? We do it completely for free. And for the high schools, we will offer the digital booth drop off. So that's just how we do it. And I've been telling everyone, like, getting in with the schools can literally double or 3x your business, because most of these events are during the week. We can all agree, right? Saturdays are our money-making days.
Yes, sir.
They're definitely our money-making days.
Yeah, but one thing though to remember, you guys, with these school events, I mean, I want to hear your experiences. Have you guys ever dealt with the school where like there's like steps you have to take, like background checks, fingerprints, pat downs, or metal detectors? You guys have anything like that?
Nah, dude. I live in a good area.
You
No,
what?
the only
I
thing,
said I live in a good area.
the only thing I've had to do is show like the proof of insurance and stuff like that. But that was about it.
Yeah, we've done events where they've asked for a lot of stuff, and it wasn't an elementary school. So I think there's more like concern there, right? So we had to do a background check, fingerprints, like show the fingerprint scanning stuff. They even asked us to write a letter of like our story and, like our experience and why they should allow us to be there. It was really weird. Name tags always when we're there.
Was the money worth it though?
No.
Oh.
Uh-uh.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, we made like 500.
This was a while ago. It was one of those events where they're like, they were at, it was my fault. Long story short, it wasn't worth it, but All the other schools we do it's been worth it. Like the high school events, because they keep coming back, what you guys have any good, bad experiences with school events or anything that you guys can share or shed light on?
Bad or good experiences?
Yeah,
I
or
do
just
think
any.
the bad's always gonna be because I've done the elementary school ones, and the bad is always just the kids are out of control, man.
Yeah.
Because and then I did obviously I'm not gonna name the school, but it was a private school, and they're just a little more privileged. So then they seem to like not care a little bit more. Like they would
Mm,
just like toss, like I literally just saw them tossing my props just for fun. They weren't even like, no, they're just for fun. I'm like,
yeah.
dude. So, but I mean, on the flip side, those private schools got money, so
Yeah. It's funny though,
Yeah.
because we always talk about like how we, if we're at a wedding, we won't, I always talk about it, how I'll turn the photo booth off because we're not babysitters.
yeah.
You're literally a babysitter when you're getting hired by your school. There's nothing you can do. You have to deal with the kids because that's what you're there for.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what to do because I was like, usually my line is, hey man, you can't be here unless a parent's here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? Which is like the parent has to come every time the kid wants, like it's a fifth grade graduation. So
Well,
So
most of the time they have to come if you're doing prints, just print. I mean, I'm sorry, digital only, because no kids in elementary school have phone number. Well, let me not say they probably do got phone numbers nowadays, but you can't. I wouldn't tell the kid to put their phone number in my software.
that's a
That's
good point. That's a good
that's a
point.
that's a note. I would say bring your. And there's been times where the kids have actually came for like weddings and sweet 16s to use the photo booth, and how many times they go and start putting in the number in, and I stop them right there, and I'm like, hey, have your parent come and put the number in, because I don't want anybody to think that we have any association with anyone's number, especially someone under 17 years, like 17 and under, and
Yeah.
that's it.
That's a
So
great point though. You're right. You have
good
to know,
planner.
you have to know what event you're doing. Like honestly, like offering a digital photo booth to a school is the dumbest thing. I like, or a middle school or an elementary school, maybe a middle school, but you're right. Elementary school, it wouldn't make sense. Um, so what are some things that you can't do? I know you kind of mentioned it, like not sending out a text messages, but like, I know we talked about it briefly. Like, what are some no-nos when doing a school event?
using the content, man, whatever content you grab, just keep it between them, and if they want some pictures, then give it to them. But I wouldn't I wouldn't use it as a like for content for your IG or your socials.
I think the only one you could probably get away with, because most of the kids are 18 at that time, is probably senior prom.
Hmm.
And again, there's still probably some 17-year-olds in there, but most of them are like 18, 19, because I graduate 18. So
Yeah.
um,
I wouldn't risk it, but like I can see your point. I can see how you can come to that. To me, it's like if they're not 18, it's not worth the reward. Posting a photo on your social media to get likes or maybe a booking is not worth one getting in trouble by the parents. And I think Tamara kind of she brought this up. She goes, you just never know, like if someone's in witness protection or if that kid gets bullied and they see it or something. You just never know. Um, yeah, and if you want content right from these events, maybe you just show up early and you just the content is just of the equipment, not of the people using the booth. Or if the teachers use the booth, maybe you can use that photo, if they're
Yeah,
adults. But what about payments, man? Let's talk about the money. How are these when you guys have had those school events, how are you guys usually getting paid?
credit card.
yeah,
They usually
it's a
want
card.
credit card.
It's a card payment. None of them are going to do like Zelle or cash,
Yeah,
unless it's like some type of like I said, usually the ones who do like the PTA, like the parents get together and they make some type of little event, then maybe you could get away with the cash or Zelle or something like that. Because we've had that with the bouncy house, where the parents would get together and they'll like chip in and they'll just give us cash or whatever. But if you're doing like a prom or any type of dinner dance or something like that, the school's going to make you sign the W-9 form,
Mhm.
and you're going to have to do everything by the books, because that's just the way they do it. And most corporate events as well do that. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, it's a process. Some schools will pay 30 days after too. That's just the way they're set up. And I've had some schools where they're like, no, we can't give you a deposit. Like we just don't operate like that. And I will allow that if that's the only way, you know what I mean? But like, for most events like a wedding, I'm not going to accept a 30-minute or 30-day payment. And the schools are good for it, you know what I mean? They're not out to scam anybody. They just have, their process.
But I think that's where the contract comes into play. Like maybe you could adjust something on your contract that says, okay, like you're paying me 30 days later, but the payment has to be made.
Yep.
You know, so at least you could cover your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about props? Right? You got to bring different props at these events. You can't bring the prop Pawns has that has the grandma on it with it like this. The Golden Girls prop with the middle finger, or the I'm drunk as AF prop. Do you guys bring different props?
Yeah, definitely. I usually try to ask them what type of event they're doing, and I literally try to buy some cheap props that I don't care if they break them, rip them, whatever. Like from the 99-cent store, those cardboard ones, and then I'll bring like a couple nice ones, like the one that Tyler gifted me, like the Pikachu one, the Hulk mask, stuff like that. But I really limit my nice props to those, just because I know how they treat them. So
yeah, same. Just cheap little glasses, the hats and stuff like that, little hands and stuff. That's it.
Yeah. And this is my opinion here, like just shifting gear here too. Like I don't have business cards out for these events. And I don't put we try not to put we don't put our website or info on the templates. I don't want to risk anything, any type of gray area. Cause when we're talking to minors, I just want it to be like, we showed up, we provided our service. No one has our info. There's no contact with anybody. You kind of have to. I'm not trying to get Mr. Beast out here. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to have any gray, weird area here. So, I mean, if you want to use your email or your website, your phone number, I definitely think it's a good idea to ask the school first, because you have to remember, if you're providing a service for minors, they're the ones that are going to have your contact info. And do you want to get a phone call from a 15-year-old? Probably not, right?
no.
That's just my
no.
Yeah.
Unless she's like, hey, here's my mom, it's for the quince. But
Well, I learned the hard way. We did a school event, and you know how on for LumaBooth, like you could put a Twilio number and have it redirected to you when they did it. We did a school event. And I got like 4 freaking text messages. Like, this is Caden. Like just weird messages from the kids. And I was like, oh, see, like it put a light bulb. I was like, there needs to be no contact at all. So
yeah,
absolutely. Actually, this rings a bell today. I actually sent Nadia a white label for this Friday coming up for Sweet 16, because I'm booked on Friday, so I couldn't do this other event, so I gave it to her. And I made the template. Nadia was a little busy, so I made the template, stuff like that. And I sent it to the customer, but the customer, she added actually the daughter in, and I was like, okay, as long as it's like a 3-way conversation in the same, I don't mind sending it. So because she kept on asking her daughter, oh, is this good? Is this good? Like, is this approval? So if you guys want to speak to the Sweet 16 birthday girl or something like that, always have connection with the parents inside that conversation, because you don't want it to go a different direction.
Yeah. It's different though with the quinces and the Sweet 16s. Like, the template, you could put your info and business cards, because there will be probably just as many adults as there will be kids. And typically for the school events, there's just mostly kids with just the parents as chaperones, maybe a few of them and some of the teachers. Also too, let's talk about the setup, right? Like, if you're doing an event for a middle school or an elementary school, you're going to have your equipment set up differently, right? Like angles, lower angle, higher angle, bench, no bench. Do you guys change up the setup?
I try to keep it as small as I can. Just like less chance of people knocking stuff over. So I keep it very, very tight and small. Like usually with quinces or like bigger events, like high-ender events, I try to like spread out, make it look big, make it look nice. But for the school events, I try to keep it nice and tight, nice and everything close together. First, because it's easy for me to keep an eye on everything. They're kids. And second of all, is kids get crazy and sometimes they knock stuff over. Ask me how I know. They broke one of my one lights. So
That's a pain, dude. Yeah. So for us, like now if you guys own a deluxe photo booth from Photo Booth 101, you can purchase on our website, guys, this adapter to make the deluxe booth a little over 15 inches shorter. So if you do have an elementary or a middle school event, instead of tilting your booth, right, you get a weird angle when you do that. You can have the booth on eye level with the kids. And if you get this adapter, you can now promote you have a kids booth. And believe it or not, that is given, we've gotten a few bookings just from that. And this, like having this adapter and having the kids booth can allow you to come in and to get a quote from a middle school and get the booking, not because you're the cheapest, but you're a specialized company. And if you're specialized, you should be making more money. So, cool. Next topic, you guys, this is one of my favorites. We're talking about add-ons, like how to price add-ons. I'll let Tyler, you want to take this one? Lead it off.
Oh yeah, man. So I think add-ons are a must. When I first started, I didn't do that. I kind of went another direction and did the whole package thing. I set my like package A, package B, package C. And it did work in the beginning until I started seeing it get a little slow. And I'm like, okay, how can I make this where it's easier? And I'm like, I'm just gonna follow the Drew method. And I asked him, I said, maybe he's like, I've heard him say it multiple times. Oh, do not the package, but do the add-ons. It's a big, way to kind of reel people in. So think about it. You're only offering the photo booth for like $200, right? But then you got to remember, there's the prop table, the backdrop, and sometimes customers don't want the backdrop or the prop table. They just want the photo. I've had customers say, we just want the photo booth. We have our own props. We have our own backdrop. How much for just the photo booth? And I'm like, okay. So, you got to make everything have its own value. So, for example, if they want the photo booth, $300. They want the backdrop or the LED inflatable, like another $100 right there. So that turns into $400. Prop table, $50. That's $450. And by the time you know it, you're already charging like $500 or $600. And people don't realize how much they're spending until the end. And they're like, oh, okay, whatever. And if they don't like something, you could tell them, well, then let me remove it. I can remove the prop table. I can remove the backdrop to lower and meet your standard budget. So it helps with budgets as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do I price my add-ons? Because that was the original question that I saw, like how to price them. I did my own research, man, and I started looking like at companies around me, because a lot of companies around, they just, it's like a whole package together, right? Like the whole print package, and they include it all together. So I started breaking it down. I was like, okay, since they're including everything together, I try to see like, what if they just did a digital, and then I see how much they charge for just a digital. I was like, okay, so then I'll subtract that, and then they're valuing this, like all these add-ons into this, and then I started looking at like, okay, well, how much do I value my prop table? I don't know about you, but it's easier for me to set up a prop table than a freaking backdrop. Right. So I'll put my backdrop like, hey, dude, $25, super easy. Takes me like no more than 5 minutes to set up. Whereas in a backdrop, it takes me longer. So then my backdrop, is a more premium price, if you will.
But think about it. Sometimes you could just rent out your backdrops too. I think there's been times like Drew said that you could use it for the cakes. You use the one for your cake for your baby shower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
People rent out just the backdrops itself, not even counting the photo booth. So that's perfect to have that as an add-on, because you're a photo booth company, but you're also in a way a backdrop company as well, because you're offering all these different types of backdrops.
Absolutely.
And people have asked me for it. I just get super, because sometimes they're like, okay, cool, I want to get it. All right, can you drop it off? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna drop it off for $100. Like that's it's not worth it for me, No. So, and then they're like, okay, well, how much are you gonna charge me? And my add-on is $75. $100 if they're trying to go cheap, like if they just want to get the what do you call it? The pickup, right? And then they want to pick up the backdrop. But anyways, besides that, I don't like just jumping off my backdrop for a drop off. It's just not worth it. I don't know if it's worth it for you. I don't know how much you rent your backdrop for, but $100 for me to drop it off it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, because then they're gonna want you to set it up too. It's not like you're just dropping it off. They're gonna want
exactly. No.
Yeah. So I like to talk about add-ons because it's about 35 to about 40% of our rental business is the add-ons. So I push hard. And it's not like, I don't know how you guys do it, but I will push not just during the booking. I push a week before, then I push at the event. So believe it or not, I have the Jackery sometimes. And if they want it, I'll add it. Most of the time we'll include it, but the red carpet and the stanchions, right? With the red carpet experience, I bring that with me every single time. And I'll like, I'll lower the price last minute and I'll say, hey, I know it's usually $100, but I can do $50 for you if you want to add it. It'll add this value here. or the boomerang and GIF and video feature. So I don't know, you guys know what I'm talking about, but LumaBooth, the software, will allow you to do not just photo, but GIF, boomerang, and video. We withhold those features and we charge our customers $75 to activate it, right? It's literally 5 buttons that you press. If you ever see us at an event and you see those buttons there, it's because they paid us for it, but not everyone wants to pay for it. So it's the easiest add-on at the event. Before we leave, I show them the setup and I have it activated. I have the boomerang GIF and video, and I'll say, hey, I know you didn't get it, but I want to show you what it is and show you the value. Then I show them it. Then after I'll say, I'll just do it for 50 and give you $25 off. It'll literally 3x the amount of things you can do with the booth. And it's almost 80% of the time they're saying yes. And that's an extra $75 I just created like that. So that's what we do. Do you guys have a policy for a customer that books, gets some upgrades, then wants to cancel them at a later time?
It's probably in the contract, but you know, it's really and I'm using the one that you have on your website.
Mhm.
But most of the time I'm like, fine, whatever. It's like if you don't want it. I mean, if they tell me like last minute and like I know another customers because I only have one prop table. So like if they're like, oh, like you don't want it, and then they just keep switching their minds or whatever, then I'll be like, oh, like no, another customer could have gotten it, you know. Just
Mhm.
lie to them, even if they don't. Then I will charge for it. I'll be like, look, there's a fee. But most of the time, I'm just like whatever. So I don't know. I guess I'm just not as strict as you, but it is in the contract, so I'll bring it up sometimes. But I'm just,
Yeah, it's in there. It should be in there. There's a 20 a $20 cancel up a minimum $20 cancellation fee for any upgrades.
mm,
Yeah. So here's the trick. This is what I like to do is when people are booking, I will give them something for free, like the free online gallery, right? And
mm.
I'll say like, hey, since you're booking the backdrop or the prop table, since you're going to book it, I'm going to give this to you for free. I'm going to activate it right away. So if they ever do want to come back and say, cancel the backdrop or whatever, I'll say, well, like in the contract, there's this fee. And then also I did give you the free gallery because you did get that upgrade. It makes it a little harder for them to be like, oh, okay, like, yeah, cancel it.
Yeah.
That's what works for us. Yeah. But no, I'll charge them $20 if like there's an event this weekend we have, and the customer, or was it this weekend or last weekend? I don't remember. They wanted to cancel the prop table because they bought their own props on Amazon. And Monte was like, oh, you have to talk to them. I have a hard time telling them that, there's a consequence for canceling it. And I just wrote an email and just like, hey, we can cancel it, but it will be $20 because we did reserve it for you. That means that it was unavailable to everyone because we assumed that you'd want it. We can cancel it if you want. And then also we'll cancel the free gallery because that was part of the package. The response was literally like maybe 3 minutes. They're like, no, 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 no. We'll keep your props and our props. Thank you again. Sorry. Easy like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, dude.
Yeah, man. So let's, you guys have anything else that you want to chat about when it comes to like upgrades before we move on? Add-on upgrades.
Don't use a coat rack as an upgrade.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh my God, it's been a while.
There it is.
All right,
There.
guys. Last topic of the day, we're going to talk about how to get corporate leads. Corporate leads. Do we know anyone in here that's done some high-end corporate events? Anyone with a beard that loves coat racks?
Damn, you caught me at that. Oh man, I think the best way to do it is LinkedIn. That's our favorite way. It's the way that Drew actually taught us was go on LinkedIn. Actually, around this time, I actually have to start doing it myself now. I've been a little laid back this year with it because the summer's been a little busy with the photo booth. I would say go on LinkedIn, make a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn, if you guys don't know what that is, LinkedIn is a page where you can, make for your own professional, usually to get a job and stuff like that. But businesses are on there as well. I put our business page, we're up on there. And from there, we just reach out to corporate companies. And it's pretty simple, man. You're going to get a lot of no's, a lot of red messages, but you'd be very surprised how many people actually reach back out. I would say corporate's good, obviously. Obviously, we all know it's Christmas time, the holiday season. Most corporate do holiday parties. They do some summer events as well, but we've caught them more on the Christmas end. for December. So again, I worked with Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins, SGC America, and a lot of that was all through LinkedIn. You know, a lot of logistics companies. I actually even did with my own job, my 9 to 5. You know, so that was cool. But LinkedIn's the way to go as far as getting corporate leads. There's other ways as well, but I'll let you guys, you know, chip in as well on this. But what do
Before
you
we
guys?
move on, I want to chat about like your highest paying customers have been your corporate clients, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're over anything over $1,000 with them. They pay, and that's another thing is that they pay what you ask for most of the time. They don't really give you a hard time unless they're on like a super tight budget. And I've had some corporate people say, "Hey, like this is our budget, like we're trying to reach," and you could work with them, and you make better money with corporate because you're giving them all your service. You're giving them all the most corporate. They take all the add-ons. They take everything that you have because they want the event to be like, you know, astronomical. It's once a year, so they're, you know, and at the end of the day, for most corporate events, it's a write-off because it's a party. So, you know, they don't mind spending what they need to spend.
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah. I
I'll
think,
drop a nugget right here. How I see corporate events. Eventbrite. Have you guys ever heard of it?
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Eventbrite is a website that kind of like blast on that website that they have an event coming up, and I'll go to the corporate ones and I'll hit up like I've only had one person, like, you know, but I didn't spend that much time. So anyways, so you go on Eventbrite, you see what events are going on near you, and you hit them all up, and usually they'll give you the person that's in charge of that event because that's who posted, and you just hit them up and like, hey, this event seems pretty cool. I'm a photo booth, you know, owner. Like, do you have a need for a photo booth? If, you know, or can a photo booth, you know, you just tell them like what a photo booth can do for them. Like we could you know, put your logo on the template, stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, sometimes they like that. Like I said, it's worked once for me, but I mean, I didn't spend that much time on like researching them. But Eventbrite is like one website that has events going on where you could just go down the list and see who's near you, and you usually kind of want to gauge it. Like, these people are probably the ones that are gonna get a photo booth if they are like, if it's an outdoor, they're in the beach and it's like, you don't want to waste your time. They probably don't want a photo booth. But if it's like a corporate event, it's gonna be indoors and it's, you know, only 5 miles away from you, it might be, you know, worth it hitting them up and seeing if they have a photo booth for their event.
I would also say another one would be to like offer them, like Drew said, kind of like with the school situation, maybe reach out to one of those people and offer them a free event, because one free event to them, they'll maybe later on potentially book you for all the rest of their future events. Like, you offer them that one free event, and then later on be like, okay, like we'll give you this free event, but let's talk in the future about future services. Maybe we can offer you for the next events and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so some of these company parties already have their budgets and there's not a photo booth in there. So if you do it for free next year or next event, they'll make it in the budget. And
Exactly.
some of these companies have their parties planned out literally in like March because it's
Mhm.
such a big thing. It's like, you know, we got to remember these businesses, like that's their time and opportunity to hand out their bonuses, to show the appreciation and to kind of just level up their business and kind of like rally their troops. Um, Another way too to get some leads from corporate companies, it's Google Ads or a strong Google SEO. You know, I know some companies that literally have their whole website, their whole photo booth company is for corporate. They have the, you know, corporate photo booth rental or professional photo booth rental. Um, yeah.
Corporate activation. All right.
Yeah, corporate activation. Yeah. Yep. Another way to get leads, right? Not just Google Ads or Google SEO would be just asking your family and friends, right, on Facebook, hey, anyone having a company party, or do you work for your company and need a photo booth for that event? Hit me up. Like that's like underrated, you know? Yeah. So with the corporate companies, since we talked about like collecting payments, how are you guys finding yourselves usually getting paid from these corporate events?
Same thing as schools, credit card.
Credit
Usually
card?
because, yeah, it's usually because you say it's a company credit card. You know, I was like, can you do Zelle? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right. Like, oh.
Well, most of them are okay with using like Google My Business. I mean, not, I'm sorry, not Google My Business. Oh my God, PayPal Business. Like PayPal business account, and they, you know, you could put the card information on there. You could ask them to send you the money through there. They're willing to do it because they actually get to put their own card into it to
Mm.
pay you. That's how we did it for Dunkin' Donuts and for Alpha, New Jersey. We did, through PayPal Business.
Mm.
My experience is just credit card, W-9, and signing a vendors list, like showing your COI. That's my experience.
Yeah. For the corporate events too, some things that I think that shouldn't be done is that, okay, some things that you shouldn't do in a corporate event that you may be able to do at other events. Number one thing is have a beer, a drink, you know? And I know a lot of people are always shocked when I say that. They're like, what, you'll drink at a photo booth event? I'm like, yeah, man, if it's a quinceañera and the father of the birthday girl is like, hey, have a beer, no stress, like Hans is doing right now, I might have one. But at a corporate event, don't fall for that trap. It's professional setting, and you never know. It's just not worth the risk. Another thing I always tell people not to do at a corporate event is tip jar. I don't think it's professional. Maybe at other events you could do it. But at these corporate events, if they're paying you and then you have a tip jar out and their employees are putting money in the tip jar, it could be a thing where they're like, well, we wanted to provide a free photo booth for all of our employees. And sometimes when people see a tip jar, they think that they have to pay to use the booth. And and I say this because I effed up once. I did this at a corporate event back in the day, man, when I was like not charging a lot, undercutting myself. I had the tip jar out every event to help with my low prices, and it wasn't pretty. The company got really mad. I got sent an email, and basically they said that they're not going to work with us anymore for some reasons. And it was a ruthless email. So I learned the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. So what are some other ways? What are some other ways that you guys feel like you can get some corporate jobs? Anything else? Any like
Facebook, you'd be surprised how many people actually are on Facebook as well as far as their businesses.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, like
there's
small
like
business.
small businesses. Yeah, so we actually have a company that we worked with. We did his wife's 50th birthday party, but he owns like a insurance company, and it's a small insurance company. Like he does insurance for like like small things like I don't know like insurance on something for your house or something like that. Like if you just redid your driveway, you want insurance on it, he'll do that. Like just a
Hmm.
small little thing. It's a very small business, and he's not too far from our house. He's literally in the same town. He booked us for his wife's 50th birthday, and then he told us, "Hey, I have this. This is my business, whatever. I love to book you for And I found him through Facebook. So he booked us because of a birthday party, but then he told us like, reach out to me again closer to Christmas, and we'll book you for our company party and stuff like that. So don't underestimate Facebook because a lot of people are on there. Like you said, you can reach out to friends and family who work for other company who work for big companies and stuff who they could reach out to their bosses and potentially book you. Say it's easier when someone's in the business already. Like let's say your cousin works for State Farm and they're friends with not friends but they're close with the boss. They could go up to the boss and say, hey, I know someone who has a photo booth, and they're helping you get your foot in that door. Because obviously the job's gonna hire you because they're being referred to by someone who already works for the company.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Corporate's great, man. I think, if you want to make the most money, go for those corporate jobs. They pay the most. Me personally, like I like corporate only for the money, but my favorite clients are the quinceañeras, the weddings, because I feel like the photos created from those events are going to last forever. And these corporate events, it's not, you don't feel the love. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But again, I mean, we're in business to make money, but it's just my own personal preference. Do you guys have any events coming up? Anything you guys got going on for the rental stuff?
Just pick us, man.
Pickups, love it. Let's go. The best type
Yes.
of rental is a pickup for
Those
sure.
are my favorite rentals.
I got my DJ stuff over here. I have a DJ event on Saturday. I have a photo booth event on Friday, and then another photo booth event on Saturday. So I'm double booked Saturday, and then photo booth. DJ stuff on Friday.
What type of
Saturday.
what type of events?
So the one for Friday is a Sweet 16. Saturday for the DJ is going to be a retirement party. And then the other one's a birthday party for Saturday as well.
Cool. Yeah, we got some events. I got an event tomorrow. It's actually going to be a cool one. I'm excited. It's a 21st birthday on a yacht. This girl's turning 21, and we're going to be bringing the booth. We're doing glam. We're probably going to run into some lighting issues because it's going to be around like 5:30, but outside on top of the yacht. But whatever, we're gonna manage. I'm gonna actually be there, so I'm gonna do manual camera settings and try to get the crispiest shots with the photo booth, because with glam, if you do manual camera settings, you can dial it in like perfectly. But I'm excited because the girl apparently is like some social media superstar or like influencer. I was talking to her mom on the phone today, and she was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna shout you guys out." And then she gave me her handle, and I looked. She has like over 200,000 followers on TikTok. So
Nice.
try to get that shout out, man. That beautiful shout out. It's great to get shouted out, also get paid too, because most of the times when people want to shout you out, they don't want to pay you a dime.
They want the free event.
Completely free. It's crazy, man. The richest people in the world, well, not the like people that have a lot of money that have the chance to shout you out, want it for free. It's like, dude, you
I
guys.
have people do that before. They reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, like, can you do this? This photo booth for free?" And then I'll shout you out, and they'll show. They'll like screen. I hate when they screenshot their Instagram and they have like freaking 500,000 robots following them. Like,
just
like
so, just some random machine.
So the only one that I offered to do for free was I have a friend. He's actually in the NFL. His name's Sam Kamara. I went to high school with him. I did reach out to him and offered him to do a free event because I think it would be cool to do it for him. He was my friend. He was a friend. We wrestled on the wrestling team and stuff like that. So I did offer to do it for him because it would be cool to say that I got to do that with an NFL guy now. But he said he's going to look into it. He's not sure if he wanted a photo booth or stuff like that. But hey, he said the offer's not off the table either. So
Love it, man. Yeah. Well, speaking of shout outs, anything you guys want to plug before we hop off?
Shoot, just that's what it was, LA, man. There's the logo.
Perfect. Love the name. Love the
we have merch on this thing. You know that, right?
merch. That's
We
right.
do have merch.
We
Yeah,
have
you guys
merch.
go buy your Photo Booth 101 merch. Link in the bio, links to their stuff down below. Thank you everybody for watching. And if you continued and you watched this whole thing, I want to give something of value. The first person to send me an email, photobooth101info@gmail.com, I will send you all of the LumaBooth props we have for free. The digital LumaBooth props. We're talking graduation, wedding, Spanish for free, but for the first person. So email me. If you don't get a response, you're not the first person. So it's just for the first person. I'm showing love, and it has to be on the date of when we uploaded this video. So gotta give love to those that stick through and follow, man. And this is like a 40-minute podcast, so there's a lot to consume. So all right, guys, thanks for hopping on. Thank you, Photo Booth 101 community, Hustle with Drew community. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. We'll see you soon.